Hey, good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. Our country is all busy recovering from the election on Tuesday. And of course, you know what's interesting? Every side explains why they won and why they lost because they didn't do what they wanted. If we would have done more, we would have won more. If we would have done less, we would have won more. Everyone interprets it the way they want and how they see it. Our country is so divided. There's so much friction, so much animosity. And I was thinking about something very interesting in this week's Torah portion that always grips us year in, year out when we read it. And that's, of course, the story of Esau and Jacob and the animosity between the two brothers, or as some might call it, the sibling rivalry. And when you read the story about how Isaac becomes old and he wants to bless his children and he wants to bless Esau because he thinks that Esau has the potential to harness those blessings, and Rebekah the mother sees it differently, and Jacob goes in wearing the clothing of Esau and he gets the blessing as if he was Esau, and then Esau is mad at him and Esau wants to take revenge. He feels that he was fooled twice by his brother, once when he sold him the firstborn right and now again when he took his blessings. Rebekah realizes that if Jacob doesn't leave town, then it's going to be trouble. And Esau might kill him because that's what Esau wants to do. So she goes to Jacob and she tells him, please go to my brother Lavan, back where I came from, and stay with him till your brother's anger calms. But the verse uses something very enigmatic and interesting. The verse says that Rebekah, the mother of Jacob, comes to Jacob and says, please go to my brother Lavan till Adash Shov Hamas Achicha, till your brother's anger subsides. And then she starts a new verse and she says, till the fury of your brother towards you subsides. And all the rabbis ask, why the double quote? Why did she first say till your brother's anger subsides, and then in the new verse she says till your brother's fury subsides in you? What does that mean? And many commentaries speak about this. But I once saw this beautiful commentary for the Chassam Sofer. And he says like this: Rebecca was a Yiddish mama. She was a mother. She loved her son so dearly. She was trying to protect him. But she was also trying to send him a message. She said, go to my brother Lavan. Go to his house. Stay there until your brother's anger subsides. But how will you know when your brother's anger subsides? She starts a new verse and she says, when your brother's anger subsides within you. What she was telling Jacob was something so powerful and so important for our lives and a lesson in how we have relationships. She says, you know, I want to know how you're going to know and when you're going to know that your brother doesn't hate you anymore? When you stop hating him. You might not feel it. It might be subconscious. But if your brother hates you so much, there's got to be some reflection within you, and there's got to be some animosity or some, as we say, not forgetting, where you're not happy for your brother deep inside, and that's what's reflecting. You know, King Solomon said that so many years earlier, the powerful words, just like the face of water. When you look in the water, you see your own reflection. So too is the face of one soul to another. Sometimes we don't realize, and we say, why is there so much hate? We have to first check within ourselves, too. Do you truly love someone unconditionally, or are you constantly looking over your back and saying, what does he have? Maybe I could have more, with jealousy or with animosity, or do you bear a grudge within inside? You look at our country, so divided. You look at Israel, so divided, secular, religious, right, left. You look sometimes within families, and you see siblings who don't speak to each other, parents who don't speak to their children, or vice versa. And we always say the other one doesn't want to talk to me, and that might be true. But we also have to look into our subconscious and see, 1 second, am I truly complete? Am I truly ready to leave go of some grudge that I might have? The Alter Rebbe in Tanya says this 150 years before we started reading about subconscious, before we started learning about our subconscious. He says that every person in their subconscious might have a layer of animosity. And when we leave go of that, then slowly the other's animosity will recede. You know, they say this story about this poor farmer who finally made it One day they were going to let him stay in this fancy hotel in the city. He comes in, he's all excited, and he gets into his room and he's frightened. You see, this guy never saw a mirror before. And he looks up and he sees a guy looking at him, and the guy's angry. So he raises his hand at the guy, and the guy raises his hand back, and so on and so forth. He gives an angry face, and the guy looks at him angrily. He doesn't know what to do. He runs back down to the front desk, and he says, what am I supposed to do? There's someone in my room. Now the guy at the front desk realized this guy was a peasant, a simpleton. He never saw a mirror. So go explain him what a mirror is, and go explain him that there's no one in his room and it's nothing. He came up with a good idea. He says, listen, don't worry. I know the other guy living in your room. He's a nice guy. If you smile to him, he'll smile to you. If you embrace him, he'll embrace you. If you treat him well, he'll treat you well. So the guy goes back up. And he looks in the room and he comes with a big smile. And of course, he sees the reflection in the mirror and there's a big smile towards him. He gives the guy an embrace and he sees the same happening to him. What's the message? Kamayim upon him. My friends, it's time that we don't only look outward for answers of why there's animosity, of why there's hatred, but we look inward. We learn from the words that Rebecca told her son Jacob, who she loved so much. And it's the only time in the whole Torah that she gets called a mother of Jacob, because she was giving him such deep, sound advice that only a mother gives the child. My dear son, you want to know when you're going to know if your brother's animosity towards you has subsided? When deep within your subconscious, you find the animosity towards him and you let it go. It took 20 years, but 20 years later, with his wife and his children, Jacob comes towards Esau. Gives him gifts, bearing tons of gifts, and all these lovely things. He hugs him and he embraces. My friends, it's time that we hug and we embrace. And the way to find that is by letting go of grudges and animosity we might have. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.